Blessings, dear all. Welcoming you to today's Ascension Walk series, Choosing Faith Over Fear. A very important conversation to get into, especially in this walk of ascension, in the embodiment. It is so important that faith is replaced with fear, and it is a choice to choose faith over fear. So I really wanted to go in details in this episode because it just so happened to be that it is something that I am devoted in putting in practice on a regular daily basis. And you haven't seen a few videos in the last couple of weeks because we've been in transition of traveling and moving, and so we moved back to Florida, and we found our home, and we've been just getting ourselves settled and in here. And the reason why I'm choosing this particular topic is because it really does require to take your steps in faith. And each time you face any kind of fear, concern, worry, or anything, right away you're choosing to replace faith over fear. So being fearless is a state of living in faith. And really, faith is an invisible trust that you have within that is truly unexplainable. You're able to experience that beholding energy inside of you. It is this nourishing, nurturing, loving presence within that you get to experience when you're allowing it from your great presence. And from there, you begin to experience more of the unfoldment through this state of awareness, which is faith, which is trust. And it really replaces doubts and worries, anxieties, and particularly fears. So in this, I'm going to share a little bit personal with you. In these last nearly 9 months that we've been on the road, we knew we wanted to come back to Florida. We had put things in storage. We've been on the road, California, so many places, traveling, serving, and sharing with our master transformational healing. And we've been devoted to the service, to our call anyway. That doesn't matter, but getting to another place was the key. So Michael and I really put our focus, attention into the vision that we wanted, which was a quiet home in a beautiful neighborhood that was really surrounded by nature. We love trees. We really love nature. And we really wanted to be close to the water and just kind, loving people. And we knew wherever we are, it will be blessed. This blessed energy has to go to also the owners of the home that are giving us the opportunity for us to move into their home. And so it was so important for us to stay in that vision of that joyous celebration, in total trust that this is what we want and this is what will be given. And so to allow it to be made manifest into material in form where we are right now, these thoughts that we had to also be alchemized in that same beautiful way, from that place of total faith, total harmony, total beauty, and the joy and celebration of it. So each time any kind of doubt came up, we went further into trust. And I say we, that's me and my spouse, and hold the vision even greater inside. So the vision was not on the outside, the vision was deeper inside, that this is how it's going to be, because this is destined to be, this wonderfulness, this greatness. This is what is so nourishing to our heart, and we're allowing that in ourselves. And from that, we know everyone that comes into it will also be blessed, inspired, lifted. So it has this wonderful, continuous celebration of energy. So the choice to choose faith over fear was very much a conscious choice. And this is what I really want to share. Whenever you have that deep desire in you, that you have then sort of like put it out into this space of this quantum time, to source, to universe, to God's presence, and you've asked for it, you also have to take your step with it. But the step must be in the faith, or in that step of trust. If you're taking it with the step of fear or anxiety, you are going to disrupt this beautiful allowing that is allowed to be bestowed upon you, presented to you, gifted to you. You will completely disrupt it, because it is only a vibration. And that vibration, when we begin to allow with it, that allowing of the vibration has to be from that place of the totality of, it's almost like knowing, I have so much faith, I do not need to see the evidence. It will be, because it's already being in the, not just your inner eyes, not just the eyes of your heart, in the eyes of divine, in the mind, in that greater mind. It already has been created. Thus, it will only be created here. Your job is to walk with faith, with trust, in knowing and in celebration that it will be so. So, making a long story short with this, when we came back about December, November timeframe to Florida, we were staying with my son, and we knew some more travel would be coming up. So we went ahead and went into the vision and prayers. We said, this is exactly what we're looking for. This is what we like to pay. And we looked for that. There were a couple of things came up. We came to this neighborhood. We saw one house first, and it was great. It was wonderful, and I felt the joy of the area. I was like, oh, this is wonderful. This is exactly what lifts my heart. Yet something was not quite aligned with the house. And this is also part of it, because it gives you the opportunity to refine. So when I went and saw this one particular house, I was like, okay, this is great. There are a lot of wonderful things about it, but a couple of things weren't sitting with me. And I always listened to that. And those things that weren't sitting with me, they weren't anxiety, they weren't fear, they were just information that, this other thing is what my heart really wants. I don't want to settle for what I really don't want, because this is what my heart really wants. So I moved further into faith, further into trust, and held it, and I just relaxed into it. This is the next key. Can you relax into that faith and trust? The more you can relax into it, the more you, as your human self, is out of the way, so you allow it to happen, to come through you, to be made, materialized through you, and for it to be a reflection that you get to see on the outer reality. So fortunately, Michael was on the same page, so we were both able to harness this vibration together, and then this happened, and we were able to remain in faith, in trust, in that relaxation. And not even a second was a concern, worry, or anything, because simply we allowed our faith and trust be higher, be greater, and be of more of a celebration. We had learned quite a bit over the past 5 years of all the ways we did this, from worry, from anxiety, from stress, from the houses we tried to get back in Washington, D.C., and we couldn't onto. Then we came here, we started to putting things into motion and doing it differently, and we were able to succeed with that. And it just began becoming even more refined and more refined. So this has been the sort of like the gift of that refinement, and from here there'll be even further refinement that we are being invited to embrace, because growth only comes from these areas that are of friction, and we choose consciously to evolve them, to make them greater, to make them better, and not look for outside at all as a way of competing, but really have that gorgeous sort of like reflection of involvement further inside, and where you were 6 months ago, how you were doing things, how you're doing it now, or from a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Has it become more refined? Has it become more evolved? Are you staying more in trust, in more faith? Is it becoming easier? So for us, this was the easiest, simplest, most effortless way of getting a home. And we both said, wow, this is the key when we stay in trust and we stay in faith. Because the key point around it is there was no stress. And the reason why there wasn't more stress is because the focus of ours was much more on the celebration of it than the stress of it. So walking in faith does require a consciousness to choosing to remain in faith and trust over fear. We can say it, but there actually has to be an internal will, internal decision that says to oneself, you know what, I'm going to choose, no matter what, I'm going to walk in faith, because it is my conviction this will be so. And it is according to not just my will, my higher will, God's will. I surrender in that, so I can just relax into it. So you're not pushing, you're not enforcing, and you're just relaxing into the unfoldment. So hopefully this really helps those of you on this ascension embodiment, because the embodiment begins to become more of this relaxed state. And I say this because there have been many times that it hasn't been relaxed for me. I've been trying to push it and push it through the old way, and it hasn't worked. It has completely fallen apart. So I'm being invited to relax more, trust more, have more faith, and more fun naturally along the way, and watch the unfoldment. And that is one of the most important parts of this Ascension Walk series for the embodiment of Ascension. So looking forward in hearing from you also, and anything you like to share or any questions you have. And I am excited to finally be back where I have a desk. I can start to make the videos, so you can receive my Wednesday videos that is dedicated to this particular area, which is all about living from our crystalline light, that Christed light that is seen within and is ready to be radiant in its natural walk of life, because it's been able to embody it. So have a beautiful, blessed day, and I'll see you next